There once was a man who had everything: wealth, influence, education. He was known far and wide as someone who had studied the world's greatest texts, debated scholars, and mastered every philosophy he encountered. But still, something was missing. He didn't know peace. He knew how to win, but not how to rest. He knew how to speak, but not how to listen. He knew the world, but not himself. One day, he heard of a teacher. Not a professor, not a guru, just a teacher. A person who spoke little, lived simply, and was said to possess a deep, clear wisdom that could not be taught in books. So the man traveled a long way, climbing high mountains and crossing narrow rivers, to visit this teacher and ask his questions. When he arrived, the teacher welcomed him not with words, but with tea. The two sat on a wooden floor beneath a hanging lantern, the sun pouring through the paper walls like warm honey. The air was silent except for the slow bubbling of the kettle and the soft clinking of ceramic. The teacher placed a teacup in front of the man and began to pour. The man began to speak about all he had studied, all he had seen, all he believed to be true. The tea rose. He spoke of logic and law, of science and scriptures. The tea reached the brim. He spoke of politics, power, and purpose. But the teacher kept pouring, and suddenly the tea spilled over onto the tray, then the floor. The man jumped back. "What are you doing? The cup is full." The teacher finally spoke. "Yes," the teacher said, "like your mind." The man blinked. "Your cup is full of your own opinions, certainties, and pride. There is no space for anything new." The teacher set the kettle down, steam swirling in the air like a ghost. "If you truly seek wisdom," the teacher continued, "you must first empty your cup." The man didn't speak. For once, he listened. And in that quiet moment, something rare happened. He let go. Not everything, just enough. From that day on, the man returned again and again, not to receive answers, but to practice emptiness. He learned to let go of needing to be right. He learned to ask questions without expecting to understand them right away. He learned to sit with not knowing. And over time, he discovered something profound. That cleverness isn't always about having the answer. Sometimes it's about making space for the answer to arrive. That thinking clearly often means thinking less, not more. And that the wisest minds are not the fullest, but the most open. So many of us walk through life with our cups already full of beliefs, judgments, fears, and noise. We think we're seeking wisdom, but really we're just pouring more tea into a cup that's already overflowing. But what if you paused? What if you tipped your cup just enough to make space? Not for someone else's answers, but for clarity, for quiet, for truth that doesn't come from outside, but from within. Emptying your cup doesn't mean losing who you are. It means making room for who you could become. If this story made you pause, even for a moment, to think, to breathe, or to see things differently, then let it keep flowing. Share it with someone whose cup might be too full right now. And if you like more stories like this, where silence speaks and wisdom whispers, subscribe, leave a thought in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.